Are you constantly frustrated that you are not accomplishing enough? Are you unable to be satisfied because you lack control over your life? Do you constantly try to read more to gain insight that will gain an advantage? Ecclesiastes is asking you to reconsider your stance toward life. Controlling the times and seasons, or even understanding why God sends them when He does, is too great and marvelous a thing for anyone but God. Time is something we often wish to control, but no matter how much we plan, life's events, from the joy of birth to the sorrow of loss, unfold according to God's timing. Our attempts to hurry or delay certain moments rarely succeed, and ultimately we're reminded that our lives are part of a bigger picture, one orchestrated by God. The Bible teaches that everything has its season, from war to peace, joy to grief. In God's plan, each moment serves a purpose, even if we can't always understand it. Ecclesiastes tells us that whatever God does endures forever. Nothing can be added and nothing taken away from His work. God set things up this way so that we might come to respect and stand in awe of Him. This respect or fear of God is a reverent trust, similar to a child's respect for a wise and loving father. Sometimes life's timing feels frustrating, like being stuck in traffic on a journey we were excited about. You might have planned everything out perfectly, but then an unexpected obstacle stops you, and there's nothing to do but wait. You can only focus on your destination while the timing is no longer in your control. This reminds us of our own limits, and it was a concept Martin Luther described well. Luther wrote about how every human effort, our work, our goals, our plans, happens only when God's appointed time comes. We don't get to choose when our work will succeed or how long it will take. Everything happens within God's perfect schedule, and it's a plan beyond our control. Luther's insight emphasizes that our striving, while valuable, can't override God's timing. Here's how he put it: all human works and efforts have a set time for starting and ending, and this time is beyond human control. No matter how hard we try, we can't change God's timing for things to happen. Luther uses this to remind us that our efforts won't succeed just because we push harder. We can make all the plans we want, but if the time isn't right in God's eyes, our plans won't come to fruition. It's like trying to open a door that God has locked until the time is right. Are you feeling frustrated with where you are? Wishing you could accomplish more or control more of your life? Ecclesiastes is a call to let go of that need to control. Psalm 131 also teaches us that attempting to manage life's timing and seasons is far too great a task for anyone but God. In His wisdom, He has set a time for everything, and it's not up to us to decide when or how these times will play out. Why does God order the world this way? According to Ecclesiastes, it's so that we'll learn to fear or revere Him. This fear of God isn't fear in the sense of terror. It's a trust that lets us rest in His timing. We're encouraged not to chase control, but to place our trust in God's wisdom. His timing might not always align with ours, but He knows the path our lives should take, and He's guiding us every step of the way. In Ecclesiastes, we're told that God has placed eternity in our hearts. This desire for eternity reminds us that God is the one holding the plan for our lives. It's a nudge for us to let go and to remember that while we may strive, He is the ultimate author of every season and purpose. Personal experience. I know what it's like to feel inadequate in different areas of life. As a father, I often feel like I'm not good enough. I don't have skills with practical things, and despite my efforts, I achieve only average results. When I see others meeting their goals easily, I wonder, why not me? As a husband, I work hard to make my wife a priority. But with young children who need my attention, my time splits between providing for my family, being present with my kids, and supporting my wife. Some days, it feels like I'm falling short as both a husband and a father, and I feel the weight of not being able to meet everyone's needs. In my work, I struggle with this feeling as well. I constantly think our classes could be stronger and more impactful, and I want to make everything better. But these verses remind me that my kids will grow up and set out on their own paths. This is the season of parenthood, and it won't last forever. God has given me this time to nurture them and I need to embrace it while it's here without trying to rush or control it. In all these areas of life, Ecclesiastes offers a gentle reminder. My work, my family, and even my personal growth are all part of God's timing. I can make plans, but ultimately, God has set a season for each thing, and I can trust Him to let each moment mature according to His perfect schedule. The Bible reminds us in Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 1, that there is a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens. God, in His infinite wisdom, has a plan for our lives, and His timing is always perfect. We may not always understand His ways or His timetable, but we can trust that He knows what's best for us. Trying to force our own timelines often leads to more anxiety and disappointment. Imagine building a sandcastle on the beach. You carefully sculpt the towers, dig the moat, and build a sturdy foundation. But as the tide comes in, your creation is washed away. Our human efforts, no matter how well-intentioned, are often like that sandcastle. We strive and struggle, trying to control outcomes, but ultimately, we are at the mercy of something much greater than ourselves. Martin Luther, the great reformer, once said, "Pray and let God worry." These simple words hold a profound truth. When we surrender our need for control and place our trust in God, we are freed from the burden of worry and anxiety. It doesn't mean we become passive. It simply means we acknowledge that God is in control, and we can rest in His loving care. As we journey through life, we often find ourselves in different phases, each with its own unique challenges and rewards. Just as there are seasons in nature, there are seasons in our lives. Times of growth, times of waiting, times of abundance, and times of pruning. Each season, with its unique characteristics, plays a crucial role in shaping who we are. Each season has its purpose, and we can learn and grow through every one. Embracing the season means accepting where we are, understanding that every phase has its own beauty and significance. It's about finding peace in the present moment and trusting that everything is unfolding as it should. By embracing the season, we open ourselves to joy and contentment, even in the midst of challenges. We learn to celebrate small victories and cherish the simple moments that make life meaningful. In our journey through life, we often encounter moments of fear and uncertainty. These emotions can be overwhelming, but they also offer us an opportunity to deepen our faith and trust in something greater than ourselves. Fear not, for I am with you, God reminds us in Isaiah 41, verse 10. This powerful verse serves as a reminder that we are never alone, even in our darkest moments. The presence of God is a constant source of strength and comfort. Fearing God is not about being afraid of Him, but about having a deep reverence and trust in His wisdom and power. It is about recognizing His greatness and understanding that His plans for us are always for our good, even when we cannot see the bigger picture. When anxieties cloud our minds, we can turn to Psalm 131, which offers a comforting image, a picture of serenity and trust. This psalm invites us to quiet our souls and find peace in the presence of God. I have calmed and quieted myself. I am like a weaned child with its mother. This verse paints a beautiful picture of trust and contentment, showing us that we can find solace in God's embrace. Like a weaned child is my soul within me. Just as a child rests peacefully in the arms of a loving mother, we too can find rest and assurance in the presence of God. Just as a child finds comfort and security in a mother's arms, we can find peace in God's presence. In moments of fear and doubt, let us remember to turn to Him, to trust in His unfailing love, and to find our refuge in His everlasting arms. By doing so, we can transform our fear into faith and our anxiety into trust, knowing that we are held by a power far greater than ourselves. In Matthew chapter 6, verse 27, Jesus asks, "Can any one of you, by worrying, add a single hour to your life?" This profound question invites us to reflect on the futility of our anxieties and the importance of placing our trust in something greater than ourselves. The answer, of course, is no. Worrying does not add to our lives. It only detracts from the quality of the moments we are given. It is a thief of joy, robbing us of the present by fixating on the uncertainties of the future. Worrying doesn't change anything. It only steals our joy and peace. It creates a cycle of stress and anxiety that can be hard to break. But there is hope. When we turn our worries over to God, we can find relief and comfort in His promises. When we surrender our need for control and trust in God's perfect timing, we can experience the peace that surpasses all understanding. This peace is not dependent on our circumstances, but on our relationship with God. It is a peace that guards our hearts and minds, allowing us to live with a sense of calm and assurance. So, take a deep breath. Look around and embrace the season you are in. Trust that this phase is a vital part of your journey, and that it is preparing you for the seasons to come.